Okay, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. So, just like the previous movies, you can expect this one to be about, monsters fighting. And so, you can also expect for the human characters to, not be too interesting. Actually, about the human characters, there's only like one character that I kind of care about, which is, the deaf girl. Which, because I delve into her ancestry and all that stuff, and how she's connected to the monsters and all that. So, yeah. Now, I'm not going to get into it too much because of spoilers, but the other characters, they're just there, if you know what I mean. And I can't remember her name in the movie, but it's supposed to be her stepmother, which basically she just narrates the movie, like what's happening, and yeah, she's just like a narrator, well, like to tell the audience of what is happening. But otherwise, they all the human characters, they're just there, which also make the movie kind of stale at the beginning because, like I mentioned, all the characters are just there, just narrating to you like what is happening, what the whole point of everything is. It's not until I get to about when they meet the tribe, where the deaf girl, there's like development for her. So yeah, like the deaf girl's the only like important character, like the only character you care about in the whole thing. But like Legendary is listening to us. Like the main focus of this movie is the monsters themselves. Now about the monsters, or should I call them titans in this? Basically this whole movie is more focused on Kong more than Godzilla. So actually I want to say this as well. In this movie, like even with Kong, like when they tell a story, like when it's time for them like to kind of communicate, the one thing they did with the apes is they told us through body language. They showed body language, like Kong, for example, pointing to something, and you can see like them trying to communicate with each other, which actually I did like. That's a thing as well. That's what I find actually really interesting how they did that. Because as you're watching, right, when you're watching these apes trying to communicate, pointing at things, and you're doing like sign language and stuff, like you can understand what they're trying to say or what they're trying to do. Like if you guys know what I mean, because it's gonna be weird if they all of a sudden they try to talk to each other in their subtitles and stuff like that. They'll ruin it if they do that. But the way they did like the body language of the apes and how they tried to communicate with hand signs, like you can understand everything, like what these apes are trying to say to each other, and yeah, they did a really good job at that actually, about with the body language and the attempt of communication and stuff like that. Now, I don't want to go into too much because it's going to go into spoilers, and yeah, so yeah, they actually did a really good job at that because like I said, when you're watching these apes trying to communicate, you're not lost in the story. Like you understand what's happening, what they're trying to say to each other. Anyway, that's enough about that. Now about Godzilla, he's like I said, he's more like a like Kong is like the focus, but Godzilla, look, most of the movie he's just going around trying to power up. So there's that. Like because with if you guys have seen the trailers, you know about the like a pinkish purplish new spines that he has. They go into that, and I don't want to go too much into spoilers, but basically through like say probably about 40% of the movie he's just powering up. Actually, to be honest with you, this movie is kind of hard to review because without going into spoilers, like it's hard to like talk about certain things because I have to reveal like story beats and what happens with certain outcomes. But yeah, that's the thing. So about Godzilla, yeah. So he's basically through like probably say about like 40% of the movie he's just trying to power up, so he can face the new threat. If you guys know what I mean. Now about the new threat, the Scar King in this movie, he was actually, to be honest with you, the Scar King was very disappointing in this, like because like if you know the trailers and all the promotion materials and stuff like that, everything they promoted about this movie, they they tried to say like the Scar King is supposed to be like this big threat, and he's got this other Titan with him that's supposed to bring the Ice Age. And to be honest with you, in the movie they were kind of disappointing because they didn't. I mean, at the third act of the movie, the big fight is decent, but his story is kind of is it's kind of disappointing. It's just pretty much just like a normal thing. He gets trapped, and he's trying to free himself, and yeah, I won't get like I said, I won't get into too much into spoilers, but basically that's what it is. Yeah, so it was kind of disappointing. Like the Scar King and what was the Titan's name? Shimo, I think it was called. They needed more screen time to establish that they're like a huge big threat. If you know what I mean. They needed more screen time. They needed to do more things, I think. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that because otherwise I'll go into too much spoilers. Now I know I sound kind of negative with this film, but I'll be honest with you. It was a fun movie to watch. It's a fun movie, but not a perfect movie. If that it's like it's an average movie, but not perfect. But it was still fun to watch. I'll put it that way. Also, I'll say this as well. The movie was very wacky. It was like really wacky some parts because like there's literally like a zero G fight, and at one stage, I think it was Godzilla. He literally suplexes Kong, which is funny. So yeah, it was a bit wacky. Yeah, so that's all I say about the movie without getting into spoilers now. And I said I won't get into spoilers like 100 times in this review, but it is a bit hard to review without going into spoilers because it is a bit hard to talk about. So do I recommend this movie? Yes. If you're a Godzilla fan, yeah, definitely go watch this movie. Especially like if you like even like the previous movies, definitely go watch this movie. Like I think it was like I said, fun movie to watch. Not a perfect movie. It's an average movie, but it's fun. But like I said, there are good things and bad things about this movie, like I kind of mentioned before. So yeah, actually, speaking about being a Godzilla fan, yeah, there's one thing I want to say. As of the time of the recording of this review, I haven't actually seen Godzilla minus one yet. I am planning on watching it, and I will do a review when I get to it. When I end up watching it. Now I heard that movie is more of a human story. The story has a lot more heart. So, if you have seen that, I've heard that it is a very different. It is a different story compared to this one because this one's all about the fighting and it's a more of a monster fight. That one is more. I think it has more heart that people were saying. So you can't really compare the movies together if you guys know what I mean. Because they are very different stories. So yeah, you can't compare the two. But when I end up watching it, we'll do a review on minus one. So. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie, and thank you for watching. Actually, hang on, before I end this video, I've said this many times in my previous videos. Do you guys want a more spoiler review? Or do you want me to separate it, or how do you guys want me to do it? Because there are some things that are hard to review without going into spoilers, but let me know what you guys want. Do you guys want a more spoiler review? Let me know. So yeah, thank you for watching.